27.
Morning.
Good morning.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Here.
Mr. Franco.
I'm here.
Mr. Cabrera.
I am here. Compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975. The notice requirements have been satisfied as to the time, place, and date of holding said meeting by posting notice on the bulletin board here in Borough Hall and by mailing and emailing same to the Herald of Cape May County, the Gazette Leader, and the Press of Atlantic City on December 7th, 2022. In the event of an emergency, your emergency exit is the door that you came in the back, our front or left, or our front right, or your front left. This meeting is being shown here live today. Apologize for the last meeting. We had some technical difficulties. I believe that that's all been worked out. So we're being shown live here today on the Facebook live channel as well as the YouTube channel. If you have any questions while you're watching the recorded version or the live version, you can dial into the conference line by calling 888-363-4734. And when prompted, you can enter the access code 9699020, followed by the pound or the hashtag. If you have questions, if you're watching the recorded version or even later after the meeting, you're always welcome to call or email our clerk at clerk@wildcrest.org or call 609-729-8040. Madam Clerk, I believe we have 4 ordinances, 2 for adoption and 2 for introduction today.
Yes, sir. The first is Ordinance 1396 regarding the UEZ.
Motion that ordinance number 1396 be placed on second reading and final passage by title only.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that ordinance number 1396 be placed on second and final reading by title only.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Ordinance 1396 reads as follows. An ordinance repealing and restating Ordinance 911 and 914 and adopting recent regulations and provisions adopted by the legislature of the state of New Jersey pertaining to the Enterprise Zone Development Corporation of the Wildwoods.
Motion that a public hearing now be held on ordinance number 1396.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that a public hearing on ordinance number 1396 now be held.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes. Floor is open. Anybody on the conference line have any questions on ordinance number 1396? Hearing none?
Motion that a public hearing on ordinance number 1396 now be closed.
Second?
Been moved in second that the public hearing on ordinance number 1396 now be closed.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Motion that ordinance number 1396 be passed on second and final reading and advertised according to law.
Second?
It has been moved in second that ordinance number 1396 be passed on second and final reading and advertised according to law.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next, we have ordinance 1397 regarding the Cap Bank.
Motion that ordinance number 1397 be placed on second and final reading, passage of title only.
Second?
Been moved in second that ordinance number 1397 be placed on second and final reading by title only.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Ordinance 1397 reads as follows. An ordinance to establish Cap Bank for calendar year 2023 pursuant to NJSA 40A:4-45.14.
Motion that a public hearing now be held on ordinance number 1397.
Second?
Been moved in second that a public hearing on ordinance number 1397 now be held.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes. Floor is open. Ordinance number 1397. Anybody on the conference line? Public comment on ordinance number 1397. Hearing none.
Motion that public hearing on ordinance number 1397 now be closed.
Second?
It has been moved and seconded that the public hearing on ordinance number 1397 now be closed.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Motion that ordinance number 1397 be passed on second and final reading and advertised according to law.
Second that?
It has been moved and seconded that ordinance number 1397 be passed on second and final reading and advertised according to law.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next, we have ordinance 1398, and it reads as follows. An ordinance of the Borough of Wildwood Crest, amending and supplementing Chapter 48, Article 1, Section 48-4, Use of Public Facilities of the Code of the Borough of Wildwood Crest, to prohibit the chaining of bicycles and beach chairs to borough railings and benches.
Motion that ordinance number 1398 be passed on first reading, advertised according to law, be brought up for a second and final reading and public hearing on March 22nd, 2023 at 5 p.m.
Second?
It has been moved and seconded that ordinance number 1398 be passed on first reading, advertised according to law, be brought up for second and final reading and public hearing on March 22nd, 2023 at 5 p.m.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next, we have ordinance 1399, and it reads as follows. An ordinance of the Borough of Wildwood Crest, amending and supplementing Chapter 48, Article 1, Section 48-4, Use of Public Facilities of the Code of the Borough of Wildwood Crest, to designate restricted areas on borough property, in buildings, structures, and other facilities, limited to authorized employees only, to protect and safeguard public records containing personally identifiable information, and to provide a safe and secure workspace free from intrusion and disruption for borough officials and employees.
Motion that ordinance number 1399 be passed on first reading, advertised according to law, be brought up for second and final reading and public hearing on March 22nd, 2023 at 5 p.m.
Second that?
It has been moved and seconded that ordinance number 1399 be passed on first reading, advertised according to law, be brought up for second and final reading and public hearing on March 22nd, 2023 at 5 p.m.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Thank you, Trish.
Thank you,
Of
Trish.
course.
Thank you.
Next, we have the resolutions. The first is authorizing introduction of local budget of the Borough of Wildwood Crest, County of Cape May, New Jersey, for the fiscal year 2023.
I'll motion it.
I will second.
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is canceling erroneous 2023 sewer rents in the amount of $124 for property located at 404-406 East Miami Avenue.
Motion?
I will second.
It's been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing approval of change order number 1 final and accepting work performed and authorizing release of performance bond and accepting maintenance bond for the 2022 road resurfacing program.
Motion?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing approval to submit a grant application and execute a grant agreement with the County of Cape May for the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, infrastructure funding.
Motion?
I will second.
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing award of professional services contract to Colliers Engineering and Design for Seaview Avenue traffic signal improvements, Task 5, construction plans and accessible curb ramp design at the not to exceed sum of $11,600.
I'll motion?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is ratifying an agreement between the Borough of Wildwood Crest and International Association of Firefighters Local Number 4434, Wildwood Crest, from January 1, 2023 through December 31st, 2026.
I will motion?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing award of contract for the Beach Patrol headquarters renovation.
I'll happily motion that.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Lastly is authorizing peddling truck license to A&T Ice LLC for 2023.
Motion?
I will second.
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Motion that all bills properly authorized as submitted be paid.
Second that?
It has been moved and seconded that all bills properly authorized as submitted be paid. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes. Okay. Correspondence, there's none listed. We'll go to a first round of public comments. We'll start with anyone here in the audience today. First round of public comments. Please give your name for the record.
Catherine, I'm just curious. We do have enough, I know.
We just need your name for the record.
Oh, Catherine Hughes. I'm just wondering, do we have enough bike structures for if we're going to be unlocking bikes and taking down chairs and bikes? Or do we have enough money to put more biking facilities for people who would like to use them?
You talking about
Bike
bike
racks?
racks?
Yes, the bike
Yeah,
racks.
yes, so,
Part.
so actually, Public Works is in the process now of installing bike racks on
Yeah.
each of the street ends. If not on the street end, due to parking issues, they'll be actually physically on the beach as
Okay.
well.
Sure. Will there also be more ones by the libraries, our other parks, the Sunset Lake Park?
Yes. The answer
Will
is
they all
yes.
be
That's
there?
all-
Okay.
So we're waiting on, there's been a back order on bike
Sure.
racks, but all that's en route and in the plans prior to Memorial Day.
Fantastic, thank you. I was just curious, I figured it was happening, but I just wanted to make sure.
Right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Anybody on the conference line have any public comments for the first round? There'll be another round later. Okay, moving on to new business. First item, I had asked to put this on Crest Arts Pavilion, so we went out to bid, I believe twice now, on the, what I'll call the food and beverage aspect of the lease at the new Crest Arts Pavilion. There were no bidders on the most recent bid opening. So I guess the question is where we want to go from here. I did have a suggestion from one of the potential vendors to allow from that location that whoever would win the award, the ability to, to move vending and or delivery service from that location out onto the beach. So I had mentioned that I would discuss it here today and gauge everybody's opinion on that. So I'm happy to hear any comments, thoughts, suggestions.
What kind of facility do you have for food and beverage?
Sorry, ma'am,
I'm
we're
sorry.
gonna finish up, but this
Okay,
is
go
more in
ahead.
discussion of the governing body. Go ahead, anybody?
Not really, not at this time.
Is that, should we, because the reason we have to, timing is of a concern, I guess, so if we have to allow time to amend the bid specifications. There's probably a little bit of a legal process that we're gonna have to look at, in order to get it on for, if we wanted to, March 22nd, or at least the following meeting, and then allow the time to go out to bid. So we're running dangerously close, so if it's a thumbs up, I'll ask all the appropriate officials to dive into all the details and maybe get us a draft specification in front of us, and then we can take a look at it, and then we can weigh back into to Connie or Trish, on the final decision.
I would prefer that, Mayor.
Okay, all right. Next is the Crest Best Run Fest. So we've been back and forth trying to figure out a way to maintain this event in Wildwood Crest. It's been 5 years in the works now. Just to refresh everyone's memory, so Delmo Sports, who was the race director for the Crest to put on this event, has opted to want to do the on-course work and or the timing work, not necessarily be the race director. So we're in a position where we don't have a race director, although we do have someone potentially that could do the timing and the race and the engineering coursework as well. We received a proposal. I believe it was forwarded out to everybody. I think at this point, I'm wondering if we should take a break, maybe give it a rest for this year, regroup over this year, figure out a better way to tackle this if we want to continue the race for next year. I was hoping to be able to look internally to do that, but it's such a large ask. I just don't want to get involved with something where I know we can't do it right. So I'd rather take a break off and then take a full year and dive into it perhaps and bring it back for 2024.
I definitely agree with you. I think it's a heavy lift for the borough to handle by itself. We're not race directors, and I do want to put a program out there. I'm all for it, trust me. But I think we have to put out a good program so people want to come instead of putting out something fast and not really thinking of all the little nuances.
Okay?
Yeah, I agree with Commissioner Shift on that. The schools probably should be heavily involved with this as well, so it would give us a little bit more time to get them involved. I'd like to see that part of it. I know, Mary, you've been talking with Wildwood High about that, so maybe we can piggyback with them to jump on that program maybe next year.
Okay, so officially, we will officially make the announcement here today. There will be no Crest Best Run Fest sponsored by the Borough of Wildwood Crest here in 2023. We're all looking towards either a new date and a new opportunity for 2024. All right?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I add one for new business?
Sure, go ahead.
I believe there was information sent to both of the commissioners about the storm detection system. I don't know if you had an opportunity to look at it. I just wanted to put it on the radar for us to see if we can move forward with it. I want to do it in conjunction with Chief Johnson and Chief Lloyd. And we're looking for grants, but right now I'm bumping into a wall with grant money. I don't know if there's any other avenues that we can go forward with, but the purpose of this would be to have something aligned on our beaches, so when a storm is coming in, specifically lightning, that we would be warned in a significant amount of time. Also, I'm concerned, as the mayor had brought up before too, with Little League, when there's games being played, this system I'm sure will be able to help detect and tell us when to get off the field when we're supposed to get off the field. So I just wanted to put that on the radar for us.
Okay, and that was the proposal. That was a shared service with.
Yeah,
Wildwood.
that's the one where I'd like to get it to be with North Wildwood, and ourselves. The number came in at a little north of $100,000. I thought split 3 ways and us leading the shared service, it would be not too hard of a push. But I'd like to look into it a little bit with your okay,
Yep.
so we can adjust the other communities. They seem to be responsive. It's the money issue, of course.
Okay.
Thank you.
I would just need more information about it. I only saw a brief email about it yesterday, so I'm for it. I just need a little bit more information regarding the issue.
Not a problem.
All right. Under old business, Back Beach excavation is on hold. Flood mitigation projects, I believe we have a proposal from Mr. de Blasio that we are, that hasn't been forwarded out to everyone. If we could get that in everyone's hands to take a look at. Dredging, I know there's a meeting, isn't there a meeting with the state?
We just had one.
Just had one? All right, do you have anything you want to add on it?
No, everything, we did have a meeting, Connie said last week with Scott Douglas from DOT, and public officials from West Wildwood, North Wildwood, and I think Wildwood as well. And that project seems to be moving along. No pun intended, it's been stuck for a while, but I want to assure everyone that it actually has been, we're gaining some progress on that, so I'm very optimistic about that.
Okay, Mr. de Blasio, do we have anything on the CAFR permit?
It's still in technical review with the DEP.
All right. New Jersey Avenue infrastructure, pre-county, so I did forwarded to everyone personally, the New Jersey Avenue from Cressy to Rambler Road, the draft plans that were, that the county is intending to pursue in the spring of 2025 for that roadway work. So if everyone could weigh in with their thoughts and comments prior to the end of this month, I'd like to be able to give the county our official comments and suggestions, as well as any changes that would need to be made. Primarily the new downtown, I'll call it the Crest Station from Heather Road down to Columbine Road, would have grass medians. Then before that, north of that and south of that would have similar to what you see on Pacific Avenue, except there would be striped medians where individuals would pull in there to make a left-hand turn. That's basically the gist of it. And then there are what I'll call bump outs on each intersection as well, which is different than what I'll call a squared off intersection. It's more of a bump out type. So I think that was pretty much it. There were some concerns. The county originally wanted to put medians down New Jersey Avenue, however, grass medians that is. However, they realized that there was too many left-hand turn issues. They decided to forego that and just leave them in the business district. So that's kind of a quick down and dirty overview, but if I would welcome everyone to please take a look at those plans and submit any comments back to Connie on that so she can get them back to Bob Church. Major reconstructing streets plan, that's on hold. North side, we can probably strike North and South Street and pedestrian crosswalks, we can take that off.
Will do.
Pool roof and resurfacing, that project is out to bid. We're waiting to see that, where those bids come in. Public Works roof is awaiting funding, but the project is ready to go in terms of the engineering specifications. Borough Hawk Steering Addition office moves, nothing on that, right? Mark, do we have anything?
Proposal forthcoming.
Proposal still forthcoming. Bayside outfalls capacity, that's tied into to the proposal that Mark is going to, or that we haven't received it, just we'll get that in everybody's hands to start the work on the west side. Arts Pavilion exterior with Cape May County Open Space, I believe that they formally have our application now. We went through the preliminary work and it's in the queue to get on their normal agenda for a decision, correct?
We
Okay.
have a preliminary number that they've given us. They think that they're going to recommend to the county board of commissioners.
Gotcha. Washington Seaview Beach Fall outfalls and capacity. So that work is Mark's office has to do some surveying work using the grant.
That's authorized, right?
That's already been authorized, okay? Updating landscaping and lighting in the business district, New Jersey Avenue. I know Assistant Superintendent Sherry's not in the audience today, but I know he is working on that. Okay, that brings us, that covers all the old business. Governing body, you have anything else you want to add?
I have one question for Mark. A couple months back, we did an integrity check on this building itself. We had brought some people into structural integrity.
Yeah,
Did we ever get anything back from that?
well, I think that got tied into the forthcoming proposal, the overall proposal, which was the viability of putting on a second floor, possible expansion, so that was gonna be wrapped up into that.
Okay, so,
That's forthcoming, correct?
all right.
Yep.
So, Mark, you're putting a proposal together for this building, office moves? Is that what you just?
Yeah, so,
More of a structural.
yes, so what we were tasked with doing was we actually brought a mechanical, electrical, plumbing engineer, and structural engineer and architect here to walk through the building under the guise of, was it feasible to build a second story above the first story here, and also evaluate other functionalities inside the building, which then spurred a discussion about possible use of the land by the police department might be more viable at the end of the day when the analysis is complete.
It was quite a while ago when that
Yeah,
walkthrough was,
okay, I'm
and
trying
the
to
chief
remember when it was.
accompanied, do you remember that? The chief accompanied us on the walkthrough, and
Yeah.
we realized that there were a lot of mechanicals on the left side of the building that would prohibit us from putting an expansion to adding on to that floor. We could probably do something on this side, so that spurred that discussion he was just speaking of.
Yeah,
But it
became-
does involve an expansion, which would allow for office moves, that have been
I didn't
much
know a
needed.
proposal was coming.
It's
that-
been a
that was
while
news to me,
since we
so.
asked for it,
Got
but
it.
that went out, and I'll share those emails from, it was quite a while ago.
Right, I was just checking on it, I was
Yeah.
asked about it for the integrity part.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else? All right, now we're ready for a second round of public comments. Anybody? Second round of public comments.
Hi. I was just wondering about the bid for the pavilion, for the Crest Arts Pavilion. Is there a food and beverage already established? Is there a facility for it already
Yes.
in there?
Yeah.
What
yes.
else was done to the pavilion, may I ask?
So.
What else is
Are you
enclosed?
you're familiar
I'm
with?
familiar with the old library and everything that was. I just wasn't, no one has been in there. I haven't been in there since
Yeah,
they
no, it's not,
redid
it's not
everything.
officially open
Yeah,
yet. It's
that's-
still somewhat under construction.
Yeah.
There's a couple loose ends that need to be tied
Okay.
down. But inside there is a location that opens up from a window side to the ocean front and/or the bike path. And then there's doors with there's a public restroom side, and then there's doors that open up to the ocean front as
Yeah.
well, where individuals could come in
Okay.
and purchase coffee, ice cream, what have you.
What are they looking for, or who can I contact?
The
to
clerk's
find
office
more
had,
information?
well, so we don't, so the last set of specifications is what we had just talked about today.
Yeah.
We received no bids on the last set of specifications,
Okay.
so what we were contemplating is to go back out to bid, potentially allow the award-winning bidder, and maybe with some additional money back to the borough, to extend that operation actually out onto the beach. So they
Okay.
can use that as like the hub, and then
Sure.
be able to deliver or have some vending out there on the
course.
beach as well.
Of course, yeah. No, I just wanted to see who to discuss, who to talk with that or get more information. Thank you, I appreciate all of you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Okay, we're going to the conference line, last round of public comments. Hearing none, we'll go to commissioners' comments.
Okay, Joe.
It's always me first, I love it. I'd like to first thank Ms. Springer for our budget. I think it's perfect. Nice job. You kept us where we had to be. I'm starting to see budgets around in other towns, and we're doing well. I appreciate everything you guys do. Other than that, that's all I have for right now.
I do have a couple announcements. So Congressman Van Drew plans to hold a public hearing on Thursday, March 16th at 2 p.m. at the Wildwood Convention Center regarding wind turbines. If you'd like to attend, please fill out a form. It's vandrewforms.house.gov. Trish will have that information for you. Also, the Creative Arts Council will be hosting a countywide art contest on Friday, March 24th, 6 p.m. at the Arts Pavilion. Deadline for your artwork is March 10th. For more information, check the borough's Facebook page or email the Arts Council at cac@wildwoodcrest.org. And that's all I have.
Okay, I guess that's me. So I would also like to extend a job well done to not only Francine, but to all the governing body members, to all the department heads, to our administrator, to everyone that has a part in keeping taxes down here in Wildwood Crest. It looks like our numbers are coming in rather well here in countywide. So congratulations to everybody, and we'll do the formal adoption at the next meeting.
I know,
I'm sorry, April 5th. Also, I'm sure everybody's had heard, there was a condominium deck that collapsed in Seattle. Unfortunately, there was one fatality. A couple years ago, 2-3 years ago, there was a building collapse in Florida that led to our construction office at the time to send a reminder letter out to our hotel motel owners, as well as our multifamily owners. I'd asked our construction official to send something out once again, reminding everyone that they need to do their due diligence on checking the structural integrity of their balconies. In Wildwood Crest, we have some of the best hotels and motels, and we have a lot of condominiums that are very similar to what just happened in Seattle. So, I think it's prudent upon us to make sure that we remind everyone to do that, because sometimes they get locked up in the moment. You forget about your building is sitting on the oceanfront or close to the oceanfront, and the salt air and the temperatures here with the hot and cold will have an effect on that. So I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware and make a plea to all of the public that if you do have one of those structures, to do what you need to do to maintain the structural integrity. That said, that wraps up my comments.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion?
Can I get a second?
Second, Trish?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
9:58.